This is my attempt to help build a bridge between sobriety and addiction, even when it comes to gambling, uh, sex. Some people are addicted to manipulating. And I believe that this is a better way for us to address our children and our lost in our society. It's called Eight Paths to Recovery, Building Our Bridge of Hope. Let's begin with how to apply hope in a relationship that we take for granted in its positive moments, and we argue about the flaws or mistakes the other people have who are around us. Positive focus is what is needed to build our bridge of hope. So, why not use the same theory to build our relationships? Many times, people are getting home from work and are elated to be off the clock. Once they are home, a choice is made of either remaining elated or letting that feeling fade away. People we decide to be around can be a major influence on our self esteem. Factors like relationships shape our moods and, in turn, shape our self esteem. Believe that when your family and friends think you are positive energy, you become that positive energy. Train yourself to focus on surrounding yourself with people who provide joy and bring you a sense of accomplishment and self esteem. Build peace in your home and in your community and neighborhoods and communities by sharing the love and sharing the joy of being a positive person. Start by making a list of 8 qualities in your partners or friendships and the relationships that mean something to you. For me personally, they are faith, truth, understanding, forgiveness, respect, honor, goals, and grace. And praise them often to let them know that you notice when they exhibit these qualities. Once they can feel that appreciation, they will focus more on showing their gratitude to you as well as mimicking what you're doing to others. People respond to you showing them gratitude with their own gratitude, and it starts a momentum around the people or an energy that you surround yourself with, like the 11th man at a football game, getting involved in the game. We have all seen what happens when the 12th man gets involved. That momentum and that energy uh, become contagious, and expectations rise. Success creates those expectations and confidence in our own success. Ridicule and shame create reservation in participating. So beware of all the seeds you plant. Um, Never talk down to someone or make them aware that they're having issues. Try to be more supportive of them and do it in a positive way to where you're not damaging their ego or self esteem. In contrast, think of people who do that and exhibit those negative qualities where they showcase their own ego, deceptiveness, selfishness, or hatefulness, and the effects it has on the people around them. Envy, lust, jealousy, and addiction are all things that will tear your life apart. A theory I read once in college explained it as the mirror effect. And what that means is people develop their self esteem by judging uh, the reactions that they get from other people that are around them. And we start to self identify with the people around us, be it positive or negative, which is absolutely imperative to building a character instead of destroying one. Faith in communication breaks down because it's not safe to let people know how we feel because we're afraid of being rejected. We are very guarded when it comes to our inner feelings. People are afraid to feel shame or guilt, so they usually exaggerate, lie, or deceive. Faith in our peers, to be honest, is critical and builds the foundation of trust. Statements that are not true and are counterproductive, even assumptions that are made, can have very negative effects. So we need to treat our words like sharp objects and understand how much weight they carry. Words can destroy people, but actions can rebuild people. So if you're wrong, admit you're wrong so that people can address it, learn from it, and move forward. We all make mistakes, so don't do your partners the disservice of not listening and understanding, and give them forgiveness when they ask for it, just as you would expect for them to give you. Many relationships are destroyed by the remember when battles of yesteryear. That's the past. Let the past go. Be thankful that you made it through and be grateful for all that it gave you in your past relationships. But don't hold on to those past relationships. You can cherish them forever, but don't try to destroy somebody's tomorrow with some stuff that they did yesterday. Practice exercising faith, which is having trust in something that you can't see, hear, or feel, but you just know. Truth is knowledge that you don't question because you have attained it over time and know it to be a fact. Understanding is uh, giving someone the acceptance uh, to listen to them and validate them by trying to empathize or sympathize with what they're trying to tell you. Forgiveness is an effort to accept a person's mistakes and to love your way through it with them and understand that they are sorry. Ego is believing that your interest is more valuable than someone else's. Deceit is to mislead a person in order to support your own concept. Selfishness is being unsupportive or self oriented. Hate is living in contempt of life or others. Those things will never get you anywhere as long as you are trapped by them. It takes time to build anything, especially if it's as important as relationships are. I wrote this book because I lost my partner and wanted someone to blame. The more I looked over the whole picture for years, I realized something that she once told me was very true. She said, no matter how hard you try, you'll never realize your problems till you look in the mirror. And you can't wish for a better past. Meaning that the future can't be found inside me or inside my past. And my future belongs to what's left of me and how I recover myself and carry on. Our marriage died because of neglect on my end, and in the end, hopelessness caused us to separate. And a lot of times you separate in relationships long before you actually end them. So I want to teach other people the way I would have done things if I had listened to her and looked in the mirror before the cracks started in the foundations of what was a beautiful 20-year marriage. And before that, a beautiful 8-year marriage. Um, I was so focused on who had the right ideas that I forgot to say to them, hey, did you know that I truly do know that you are an angel who has blessed me in love? And I love you so deeply that if I think about it, I can't breathe and start to cry because I'm afraid I'll hurt you. Um, I don't have the confidence in my ability to love you. and that's a hard thing to really understand. Tomorrow, my first thought will be of you, just as my last thought is tonight. I find a grace and appeal that I could never live without, and this is to any relationship that I get in. What I can do is make you smile the way that you smile, while letting you know how much I do adore you. Um, Instead of doing those things, I didn't come home. I went out with any and everybody I could find to escape the responsibilities and duties I had of either being honest about it, ending the relationship, or doing just transforming into someone I didn't know. I felt like I was not good enough for her or the relationship in the end, and that's where I think the fault should lie. My looking glass theory reflects to a point where she believed these things were true, and my actions showed her that she was right. I came home one day and another person had come along and gave her all the things that I failed to give her. And that's not her fault, that's our fault. And a lot of people get hung up on the fault game at the end of a marriage. And when someone finds love, you should support them if you love them. And I can't comprehend why you don't. Even if they're wrong, um, love is a special thing. And if it touches someone, it touches them. You should be happy they're blessed by love. I hope it helps others find the right inspiration to um, take less for granted the relationships that you're in. Um, I know it does me, and I'm thankful for it. And my angels of love, they still work wonders. I want to show how amazed and thankful I am that I was given such an honor two times in my life. Faith will lead us home. Faith is a belief in something that cannot be seen, heard, or touched, but is understood. People seldom ask this question when they begin a relationship. What is your faith based on, and where do you place it? The most important of all the needs is a couple's direction. You may kiss the bride, is what they tell you at the wedding. But what do you do after that to adore her? Most people get caught up in trying to chase down a home and two and a half kids and a white picket fence like that we believe that we're supposed to do in life. But how do we get there from the wedding chapel is sometimes where we lose ourselves and lose our partners. Faith is the idea that is shared amongst bride and a groom about what it is that's leading their desires or ambitions and where they're wanting to end up. God is a higher power and is extremely important to couples in most marriages or families. And uh, to be honest and fair with each other should be the pillars inside that institution. But we need to know what it is our partners are passionate about, and we have to communicate regularly to touch base and stay in tune with what we're doing as a team or a family. Personally, until I was 40 years old, I wasn't capable of understanding the magnitude of a marriage or family or all the things that it might take to reach end goal of being happy when I passed and looking back on my life and knowing that I love the perfect person. My faith came to me from my mama, the Church of Christ, and my grandma, and my parents, and all the different teachers and stuff that I had in my life. And it built me into the person that I am. And in a lot of ways, I think that the expectations sometimes override my abilities because of things that I haven't worked on in my life or tried to fix. Um, Faith is a moral compass that will lead us to a destination. So we must make sure that our faith and our personal code get represented as a couple and as a family. If not, we're going to find ourselves stuck on that dividing line, starting to drift apart. My belief is uh, the faith that I have in the person, in my relationship. And my code of honor is always going to be that they are more important than anything else in my life, including myself. And faith for many means religion, family, community, or even tradition. And they expect you to honor with that faith should the centerpiece of the table be removed in the faith or the honor that holds everything in place, you'll find yourself and your family in turmoil. Hope for everyone should be defined as they live their life according to their personal standards, believing in uh, in love conquering all things, which it does, I believe. True love conquers all. Faith is built from realizing that the mission for the family, raising our children to be the best people and more complete people than we were, is the mission, and that the mission is greater than all the people and parts involved in it. One thing that everyone needs to take a look at is their own personal egos, because that is where our faith needs to humble us. Um, we are no better than anyone else. We are all struggling to survive until the end, and we do not know what tomorrow holds. Faith in a higher power as well as a partnership will be the foundation for not only communities, but states, federal, and governments and kingdoms are all built, you know, on the strength and unity found in a mission or a flag or a belief system. The families going the same direction and supporting each other for the same cause because they want to succeed. Let's also look at the support aspects of faith. Teamwork is always better when you are working with people or working with an understanding than it is to go alone and confused. The worst mistakes I ever made in relationships were due to a lack of understanding. My partner would say, I think, and then I would shrug them off because I didn't understand, didn't want to look stupid. And that broke down the communication. And you can't break down communication when you're working on something as partners, as important as building a house and raising children. Imagine how that could affect the person who believes you do understand and believe in what they're doing when you don't, and you get confused and you start to cope with things like alcohol, drugs, or shopping, or gambling, or just not being a part of it anymore. Remember that the two of you or your family are trying to build a bridge. It's not already there. We haven't reached that point where we can say we're successful. Life is lived in the steps we take to the building of the bridge. And when we die in our final hours, we can look at what we've constructed almost like a Mount Rushmore and say, boy, we really did something, didn't we? And then say goodbye and know that we lived a complete and full life with all of our accomplishments, and hope to God that we blessed people while we did it. Partnerships mean that we are going to assist each other to achieve these common goals. And through faith, many things get forgotten, um, and then we try to focus on that special feeling of other people having faith in us, even though we make a mistake or two. Most people say, uh, that they know they're going to win, or they know what they're going to accomplish. But the magic to me of a higher power, or love, if you will, is all the things that are unexpectedly built along the way in a relationship. The little side things that you never seen coming, the relationships that develop out of relationships, they amaze me at times. Faith in our partners is critical, and we have to use each step as a tool to shape our partner's self esteem. Building your partner to be the best version uh, of themselves includes all the positive reinforcement we can give them. I believe in us means I believe in you with my words as well as my actions. Believe in something uh, so much that you commit to it before you ever ask it for anything. Um, you're already there. You're already committed. And let them notice, this person is absolutely my best friend, and there is no issues, and I'm safe with them, and I love them by the way that you act and carry yourself with integrity and grace. Accusing or rehashing any negative events to a person never leads to positive results. I know you should point it out so they learn from it and all that. You don't have to point it out. Most of the time, they already know. They already know. There's a way to finesse and get your point across and let them believe that you're not pointing something out that's a shortcoming, but you're recognizing all these things and leading them to the part where they realize they could have done that too, and you don't have to tell them that. Truth creates love and respect. Anytime you lie in a relationship, you can expect that relationship to perish. So believe in something and cherish it and respect it. I have been around many people who did not, and all that you get left with in the end is deceit and hurt feelings. People want to know where they stand, and you can never tell somebody where you're going or where you're at if you're lying to them. And if you're lying, you're doing something wrong, and they'll never trust you again, believe me. People uh, who want to deceive are counterproductive. They'll destroy everything around them, every relationship, and you'll usually find out the reason they're deceiving is because they're up to no good. Partners should share everything there is to share and even admit whenever they've done wrong, uh, with the expectation really that their partner will understand that and continue to love them and they can laugh about it later. There'll be some hurt feelings or whatever, but that's the way it is. That's what life's all about. Um, my experiences have taught me that you always tell the truth because if we're going to succeed, we have to be on the same page. We cannot uh, lie or omit things if we expect for our partner to be as strong as they can possibly be with all the information we have and to help us, in our partnership. So that's sort of where I'm at today. I'm talking about love a little bit, building relationships in communities. And I think that we start that at home, being parents, and then our kids go to school and teach the teachers, and the teachers teach the kids how they do it. And then we get a broader spectrum of tools to use to build our communities. And then our communities can get out here and vote, and we can be represented by people who represent us, and it'll catch on all the way up to the United Nations, um, which is going to end up being the government of the world eventually. NATO and the United Nations. They're going to have to do a lot of work, but eventually we're all going to have to get on the same page in the world and just love each other and try to live our lives as the best we can and be happy.